There was a time when men stood unshaken, not because they were fearless, but because they had mastered fear. They woke before the sun, not to check their phones, but to face the silence and sharpen their minds. These were the warriors, Spartans, samurai, Stoics, not just soldiers, but masters of discipline, purpose, and inner control. And while the world has changed, the success code they lived by still exists. But you've forgotten it. You've been trained to hustle without peace, to chase success without clarity, to live soft in a world that rewards mental steel. This is not just motivation. This is a resurrection. The ancient path to becoming unbreakable starts today. Modern success is built on shallow dopamine. Likes, views, praise, validation. A digital high that leaves you emptier than before. The warrior code never chased approval. The Spartans weren't posting their victories. They were preparing for the next battle. The samurai didn't scroll through distractions. They moved through the world with presence, clarity, and calm. You've been conditioned to believe that burnout equals progress, that chaos equals growth. But the warrior knew better. Success was never about speed. It was about control, internal command, spiritual alignment, ruthless focus. That is what you've lost, and what you must now reclaim. You were not born to be a slave to noise, but somewhere along the way, your mind became cluttered with other people's opinions, timelines, and fears. You inherited beliefs you never questioned. You followed routines that weren't yours. You adopted a pace that doesn't match your purpose. And now you wonder why success feels so far away. Ancient warriors didn't just train their bodies, they purified their minds. The Stoics wrote daily. The samurai meditated on death to honor life. The Spartans lived simply, knowing that too much comfort softens the edge. Success was spiritual, it was sacred, and that is why their code still works. Before we move on, if you like these videos and find them helpful, can you do me a favor and like this video and subscribe to my channel? This small action helps me a lot, but most importantly, helps other people improve their lives. I am truly grateful to every single one of you. Thank you. Let's move on. You don't need more strategies. You need more silence. The mind that is always reacting can never lead. Ancient warriors trained in stillness. They understood that chaos is natural, but clarity is earned. Before every battle, they went inward. They rehearsed their thoughts. They visualized victory. Their power wasn't in brute strength. It was in mental alignment. In the modern world, your battlefield is internal. Your war is not with enemies. It's with procrastination, distraction, and weakness. And if your mind isn't forged in discipline, you'll fall before the battle even begins. The ancient code begins with one principle. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your training. That means habits over hype, repetition over motivation, mastery over excitement. Today's world romanticizes the vision, but warriors fell in love with the process. They didn't need permission. They didn't wait for inspiration. They became consistent with the boring, obsessed with the fundamentals, and loyal to their own word. That's what made them dangerous. They couldn't be broken because they had already faced their own mind and won. What makes a warrior unstoppable is not strength, but self-command. Spartans didn't fear death, they feared dishonor. The samurai didn't fear pain, they feared living without purpose. Every action was rooted in a deep code, a personal law that governed their thoughts, decisions, and movements. Do you have that? Or do you change with your moods? Do you show up only when it's easy? A warrior does not wait for the perfect day. He makes the day obey his will. That's the kind of mind that wins. That's the kind of mind that builds empires in silence. The Warrior Code also teaches you this. The enemy is within, always, not out there, not in your competition, but in the voice that says, not today, just rest, skip it, you're tired, you've done enough. That voice has ruined more dreams than failure ever has. The warrior learned to confront it every morning, with movement, with breath, with intention. He didn't try to silence the voice. He overruled it. He understood that you train your mind every time you follow through, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. That's how greatness is carved into the brain. Success, as taught by the ancient warrior, is not the outcome. It is the identity. You must become the kind of person who earns victory before it arrives. That means training like you're already successful, thinking like the person you want to become, speaking with the power of someone who already believes. That's not delusion. That's brain programming. Your subconscious responds to identity far more than ambition. That's why most people fail. They aim big but think small. They chase goals but never upgrade the operating system. A warrior knows you cannot perform beyond who you believe you are. Rewiring your mind the warrior way starts with discipline, but not just in action, in thought. Cut the mental clutter. Observe your impulses. Create space between stimulus and response. That's where freedom lives. Today's world wants you reactive, emotional, addicted. But the warrior creates space. He pauses. He breathes. He chooses. In doing so, he rewires the neurons of his brain to obey intention, not impulse. This is how you break free from old habits, by becoming conscious of every thought, every reaction, every hidden pattern. This is how the battlefield is won. Next is ritual. Warriors lived by rituals, not routines. Rituals have meaning. They transform. A morning cold plunge wasn't just physical. It was spiritual. It was a reminder, I do hard things. A daily writing session wasn't just journaling. It was self-clarity. A silent walk wasn't about exercise. It was about returning to stillness. You must create rituals that program your identity, that link discipline with dignity, action with alignment. Rituals don't just change your schedule, they change your mind. One habit done consciously is more powerful than a dozen done unconsciously. And above all, the warrior code requires solitude, not loneliness, solitude. The difference? Loneliness fears silence, solitude seeks it. Because in solitude, you meet yourself. You face the discomfort. You confront your truth. Most people are so distracted they haven't heard their own inner voice in years. But the warrior prioritizes solitude because he knows clarity only comes in stillness. And when you have clarity, you don't need motivation. You move with force. You act without hesitation. That's what separates the successful from the scattered. The inner stillness that leads to outer power. The reason this code is lost is because it's not flashy. It doesn't go viral. It doesn't sell. It's simple, quiet, unshakable. But it works. It's ancient because it's eternal. And if you live it, not just know it, you will begin to see the world differently. You'll stop waiting. You'll stop negotiating with weakness. You'll walk into every room with the weight of someone who knows who they are. That's the success code hidden in ancient warriors. Not power, not praise, but presence. So what now? Are you ready to remember? To return? To become the warrior your mind was built to be? It won't be easy. You'll have to let go of comfort. You'll have to confront your own patterns. You'll have to wake up when others sleep, work when others scroll, speak truth when others stay silent. But on the other side of that discipline is peace. On the other side of that fire is freedom. Not the kind the world gives you, the kind no one can take away, the kind that lives in your bones. You are not stuck, you are not broken, you are simply untrained. And training begins now. Rise, move, return to the code. The ancient path still calls to those who are willing to listen. If you made it until here, leave a mind emoji in the comments. I want to see how many of you reach the end and finish what they start. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and keep improving day by day. Together, we are unstoppable.